Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the movie Thunderbolts. And I really enjoyed this movie. This has become one of my favorite ones. It came out on Tuesday in 4K, and I really like this one. 2 thumbs up. I do that, but I actually had the thing so I can point to it and everything. I would really recommend this. I think they do a good job of pretty much laying the stuff of certain kind of characters, mainly with John Walker being from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And if you didn't get into that, they definitely do a good enough job of laying out kind of what was going on with him there. You see Taskmaster here. That is going to be one of the kind of problems that goes on with this, but I mean, they didn't really do much with her anyway, so let's kind of get into this. So, the main kind of focal character, incidentally enough, is Yelena, as pretty much Black Widow, and she is the strongest kind of character here. Now, they do other kind of ensemble stuff, and we get a little bit more into Ava, Alexei, Bob. Bucky we've gotten a lot into, but he kind of works in with the group as well as John Walker, U.S. agent, former Captain America. But we see that she is kind of talking about being kind of empty and everything and having the kind of void, and that's a big kind of thing. One of the big kind of motifs of this movie, especially linking it with Bob, as we get into it. I really like how that kind of ties the theme together as we get to the end and we get kind of the whole thing, and the whole kind of villain isn't kind of your typical kind of thing here. I mean, you get your CGI kind of fest going on a little bit, but it's different than usual. So, she pretty much goes into this building in Malaysia and is pretty much there to pretty much take down the whole thing. And she has this really great fight scene in a corridor where they kind of go with a different kind of top-down perspective, kind of similar to John Wick, but not as much. It's a closer kind of shot as she's taking people out and pretty much narrating kind of how she's feeling, how she's not really feeling right, feeling kind of empty and all that. And then she gets in there. She's pretty much talking to the dude. Like, hey, come on, are you listening to me? As he's tied up and everything. She's like, I need to get past that fucking face thing. I don't know if your face would work. What the fuck were you guys doing here? Well, look at this guinea pig. Your face will work? Probably not. But then, of course, we get one of the scientists popping. I was like, okay, don't fucking do this. He's got a gun. Tries shooting Yelena, trying to walk around and do all this kind of stuff. And the thing is, she kind of tries to get him into a certain kind of position. However, he is untrained with a gun and gets into a position where he accidentally blows his face off. And she's like, well, fuck. So then she just pretty much gets to a position where she just blows out the thing and takes the guinea pig with her. She's like, hold on. And we're good. Seeing that she is working with DeFontaine to pretty much clean up all these kind of black sites. This links up because she is pretty much under impeachment hearings as she's the one in charge of the CIA. And she's like, oh shit. And we see her and Mel. And I actually really like her and Mel's kind of relationship. She's kind of trying to mentor her, but pretty much making her do all this kind of shady ass shit and pushing her to do this kind of shady ass shit. And it's like, oh god. And that's a kind of tension that runs throughout the movie, and I like it because it provides more character development for Fontaine, who is pretty much put up as this person that's kind of taken a position like Nick Fury, but this person doesn't know how to handle the power, the authority, and the trust that needs to come with that kind of position. She just fucks other people over and thinks that she can win throughout the day. She does have issues that kind of underlie this, which I'm glad that they have layered up, but it doesn't excuse her use of Mel and kind of what goes on. I do like that a lot of the characters in here are not just cardboard cutouts. We actually delve into a lot of them. Bucky is the only, Bucky and Taskmaster are the only two that really kind of get the short shift on that, but Bucky has had various other movies to have that laid out, and we just see him kind of working through what's kind of going on here. So we see that she is linked to the Sox group, and that she's pretty much utilizing these people to kind of make sure that there's no evidence that can be used against her. She's pretty much been conducting human experiments and trying to do her own kind of shit. And even we get to the end of the movie, trying to do her own Avengers team, which contradicts what Thunderbolt Ross was doing, showcasing, which I like actually, is that after the Avengers had like dispersed after Endgame, we've got multiple people within even the United States government attempting to make their own Avengers team and their own kind of teams. It's like, oh god. So I like that kind of concept introduced from the comics of like, okay, we got the Avengers and we got like the ones that are on the main East Coast, and then you got your West Coast Avengers, and then all the different kind of stuff. The initiatives kind of popping up. So I just like it having of that. I'm like, oh shit, we've got a lot of people doing a lot of stupid fucking shit that it's like, oh god, super team time, nuclear deterrent. We also see that Yelena then pops up and is trying to kind of talk through her just feelings and everything with Alexei. And again, a great thing that they did with Alexei is he is actually more of a full-formed character here. He is not just Fat Thor joke done again in another movie. He is also in the same kind of boat because he liked helping people. He liked being a hero. He liked being held up as the Red Guardian of Russia and how that kind of affected him. And now he's just a limo service kind of dude doing his kind of shit. He's like, hey, why don't you give me a word in with Fontaine and get me in and doing stuff? Because even though he was done like a propaganda piece of trying to be a super soldier for a country, he wants to help people. He wants to feel that kind of purpose and everything, and he's trying to kind of help out with her, but yet it'd been over a year since they had last conversed, and he hadn't reached out. I was like, ah, shit. And that gets brought up later on. However, she gets called by Fontaine, has another kind of mission to do, but talking to Fontaine, she wants a more public kind of role, kind of going and changing kind of herself as well. So she gets this thing. There's this vault. She's got to go in. Somebody's trying to steal stuff. This links her up that Yelena is going after Ghost. And we see them kind of pop in. And the thing is, she then gets beset by John Walker. And then we see Taskmaster pop in as well. We see that Yelena was sent after Ghost. Walker was sent after Yelena. Taskmaster was sent after Walker, and we get this crazy-ass fight sequence as we see that Fontaine is pretty much trying to burn everything, i.e. even the agents that she's been using. Fucking asshole. So, this pretty much gets into a nice kind of fight sequence as we see everybody kind of utilizing their same kind of skills. Downside is, most of these are within the kind of realms of regular people or enhanced super soldiers that are to a certain kind of extent. The only one that has an actual kind of superpower at this point is Ghost being able to phase back and forth through different kind of things. We see them kind of fighting, and then we see that Ghost utilizes Walker's gun and kills Taskmaster. And that's the end of that, at least at the foreseeable future. We could potentially get another kind of Taskmaster scenario going forward. Another Taskmaster character, because mantles and all that kind of stuff and various different kind of people that had taken up. But this Taskmaster got fucking shot in the head, and that's all she wrote on her. And the thing is, Yelena at least definitely was like, she had a fucking sucky-ass life. And then, of course, they find out that the doors start closing. Mel is telling Fontaine that, like, everybody's in there, and that Fontaine wants her to kind of take care of what's kind of going on. We do see them coming to the realization of what's going on. However, out of anybody that has any kind of character development here, Walker is just so up his own ass. He does not think for a moment that Fontaine would betray him. That it's some kind of stupid other kind of thing, that you guys are full of shit. And Yelena and Ava, Ghost, pretty much kind of like, we're burned here. We're loose ends. And he's like, nah, that ain't happening to me. It's like, his arrogance and his just unwillingness to work with a team, mainly throughout this movie, where he attempts to do everything himself. And we see kind of the fallout of what that kind of does to him and his family. It's just like, you are an asshole. I mean, Bob even calls him an asshole. It's like, yes, he is kept an asshole here, because he doesn't really listen to anybody. He tries to do everything himself on his own terms, when it is to the detriment of everybody, even himself involved. And it's like, god damn it, dude, you are, like, they committed to him. He is a good character in that he is an asshole and cannot get out of his own way in a lot of scenarios. And even trying to help people, it's just like, god damn it. Like, he's that dude on your group project i.e. your team, where you're like, oh my god, can you not fucking do that, dude? Can you just fucking not do that? But then we see that Bob pops up. It's like, Bob, where the fuck did you come from? It's like, I don't know. I did a medical experiment, and all I remember is being in here. And John sees the things like, where the fuck did you come from? And Ghost is attempting to try and get out, but there are sonic things that like mess with her ability to concentrate and go through the doors and everything. So they pretty much find the power source. Walker raps at it, and then they have Ghost go out, and he's like, ah, shit, she's fucking betrayed us. But she comes back and is like, you guys are my only way out. So they get back, and we see them attempting to get through the elevator. Bob has the idea. They're kind of bickering back and forth. Yelena is the cool kind of one, trying to, mostly talk Bob down more than anything, as Walker is going complete alpha asshole mode. There are no alphas. That study was disproven, but it's like, I'm gonna be the giant asshole, dick. And it's like, whatever. And Bob just be like, you were Captain America? You're an asshole. It's like, yep. But he's like, you know what? You guys can just leave me here. I'm fine. Pretty much being down on himself. I'm like, God damn, I get that with you, Bob. And Elena's like, I've been there too. She touches him and gets transported to this place where she betrayed someone. It's like a memory kind of thing. It's like, what the fuck? The thing is, we start getting further throughout the movie, and it's like, oh god, these powers are fucking insane. Because, we've had issues and shit going further, but I like where we get to the point of like, oh my god, this is a pretty big threat. So, she's able to talk him down. They go to the elevator, and Bob has the idea of them pretty much doing backs and forth to kind of get to the top. However, Bob didn't plan for that kind of eventuality, that they'd actually kind of make it to the top. And then they start trying to figure out how to do their Walker's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And pretty much gets, having Bob almost die. Yelena's able to catch him after being caught by Ava. And then he's like, yeah, it worked completely well. It's like, yeah, right. And then we see that the place is surrounded because Fontaine has been pretty much appraised that this has not worked out correctly. We see that also she was at this kind of soiree kind of thing, trying to downplay her impeachment. Bucky pops up and is trying to do old school kind of noir working of Mel, actually giving her a business card to kind of get in contact with him, which she does after shit goes kind of really fucked nuts. And he's attempting to talk to the Gary dude who is in charge of the impeachment, be like, listen, if I get some evidence, we'll see how this kind of shit works. So that sets him off. Fontaine was using Alexi's limo service, and that kind of links him up, where he's like, oh shit, Yelena. Linking all that shit together, because he did the limo service to try and get in her good graces and probably like, hey, I'm a super soldier, you want some help kind of shit? Like, he doesn't even get to that point. He's like, ah shit, my daughter, fuck, gotta go home. So they pretty much are surrounded, and they're trying to figure out how to pretty much draw them in. We get a nice cool fight scene as we see Yelena and Bob attempting to help as they pretty much cut the power and then try and get the power back on. But things aren't working right. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? This is, of course, linking with Bob, but yet not knowing it at that point. Walker's like, fine, fuck, I'll do this myself. As they start fighting through more of the soldiers that are shown through, because the thing is, they were going to draw them in, cut the light, have the lights cut, draw them in, and then turn the lights on to pretty much blind their asses and then escape. Ava's pretty much trying to get an escape route as well, and pretty much get a vehicle for him. Of course, testing her loyalty against you. You guys are, this is the only way out. Whatever. And they didn't go completely right, but they decided to pretty much jack the uniforms of 3 of the soldiers. The thing is that Fontaine had told the team to do non-lethal because they found out, like, who the fuck is that person? And it's like, someone survived the tests. We need to get their ass and figure out what the fuck's kind of going on. It's like, yeah, you'll see about that. And by the way, I love the acting for all the people involved. Like, just so I could hit that because it's just on point, especially with like Bob and everything. So they then hook up with Ava and are attempting to get out, but they can't get past the guards. So Bob decides to pretty much try and help. And he gets shot, and they attempt to leave, and then we see that Bob is able to fly, goes up in the air, and it's like, what the fuck? They pretty much book it anyway, but then Bob falls down to the earth, pretty much creating this kind of giant shockwave that rolls over their vehicle, and Fontaine then takes Bob with her. So we then see them trying to figure out a way, and we get the most dad superhero moment possible as Alexi's like, Yelena, they're trying to kill you, and Yelena's like, oh god damn it. But I'm like, let me put it this way. He has not been the best father. He delivered you to pretty much being trained by assassins. However, given all the years and all the stuff, he drove from like Baltimore to like Oklahoma to save your ass from pretty much being assassinated. And did it in the most dad-ass way possible. I respect that shit. Is it embarrassing as fuck? Hell yeah. Do I feel for her? Fuck yeah. But, out of all the dumbass things that a person can do, and then, of course, still, yes, calling attention to yourself, it's a good thing that Alexei did. So they're driving, it's like, alright, but we still see that there are other forces from Fontaine on their ass. Alexei saying that it's bulletproof. And then also we get that there was a whole kind of thing where John was giving his whole kind of pedigree. He was on the high school football team, trying to pretty much make himself the leader. And he was like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, I was in the fucking Thunderbolts, this soccer team. And then, of course, Alexei kind of pulls that in. That's why we get the Thunderbolts kind of moniker, which I kind of like. It's kind of like, whatever, we're in this weird shit. Alexei, of course, brings it all, not wanting to be on the Wheaties box and everything like that. But they start getting shot at. It's like, oh shit. And, of course, he's trying to do all the different kind of things for his buttons. Fucking having the song Pony doing, but I was like, oh god, he's got a pony button. And he's like, don't drink that cup back there. It's like, yeah, I mean, you went from Baltimore to Oklahoma, yep. And we see that Ghost tries to pretty much use her phasing powers to go after the vehicles. However, they have those sonic emitters as well, so that kind of shits that out. However, Walker is able to pull her back in, so not complete asshole mode on that mode. Then we get that Bucky pops up and starts fucking chucking, like, utilizes some crazy ass shit going on because Mel had gotten contact with him, and it's like, she doing some shit. You gotta stop that. And the funny thing is, Bucky was like cleaning his arm in like the dishwasher, which was like, that's interesting, because he'd gotten shit on it and everything, and he's trying to be this congressman, and seeing him trying to do that stuff, I was like, I understand attempting to change things and make things better. You also got to work within your skill set. And this is Bucky working in his skill set, and then he blows up pretty much Alexei's limo and is going to utilize them to pretty much tank Fontaine, at least for the impeachment, if not more so for sending her to prison. However, he gets in contact with Mel and learning about the whole Bob thing because Yelena and the rest of them were talking about that. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, oh shit. It's like, there's a danger level event that's pretty much going on, her trying to utilize Bob the way she is. And we learn more about what's kind of going on, him getting into his traditional kind of sentry thing. This is more of the kind of dark kind of Superman kind of thing. We also kind of got that with Icarus and the Eternals, but this is the more kind of Superman kind of critique of like, this is the Marvel kind of Superman, though there's also Hyperion and everything. This was going to be the hardest character to do, and I really liked how they did it. Because we start learning, it's like, oh yeah, he was like a meth user rolling around Malaysia and getting put into this. And Fontaine trying to essentially do the kind of like, thing that was kind of doing similar to Steve when he was brought out of the ice. And doing it in Avengers Tower too. It's like really linking it up with the whole kind of stuff in New York and all the kind of crazy shit going on. Linking it with the Avengers is like, oh god. But her trying to help him, but we've seen that he had also touched Walker, and he was pretty much shunted to like his worst kind of bit, where he was arguing with his wife, where he was just, his son was kind of like just having a bad, like, little baby kind of kid, not really doing well, and then the wife had to come in and was like, if you don't like the way I do it, then do it your fucking self. And we learned that he, of course, is removed from his family, divorced, not seeing his kid, and it's like, yeah, you weren't really watching your kid, man. Like, there was an issue. It's like, I understand wallowing in your kind of stuff of having Captain America being taken away from you, but you kind of did it yourself. Yeah, dumb fucker. And you kind of continually show why you are a shitty Captain America throughout the entirety of this film. So this then shows Bucky of them trying to like get together instead of going to the normal kind of spot. They decide to go to like normal kind of spot of like go to DC, testify, do all that kind of stuff, head to New York, see what's kind of going on here, and Fontaine just trying to get Mel pretty much deeper and deeper into what's kind of going on with this. And she's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with this dude. Like, he's got a lot of issues. And adding these powers, we don't know what's going on. Especially talking about, like, how it's a super soldier serum. It's like, okay, we've had good stuff with Steve Rogers. But, like, we've had other people that really fucking gone nutty. And it's like, no, we got this. And we also see Fontaine, where we see that her father gets killed. And it really affected her as a young child. It's like, okay. And she's like, just as long as we have the kill switch. It's like, that's not gonna work with this motherfucker. As we see this being turned into the Watchtower and changed up because she decided to buy Avengers Tower. Fucker. Ugh. So the Thunderbolts get their action and doing some beat ass shit, but then Fontaine's like, I left the door open, just come the fuck up. And pretty much trying to be like, I got your asses, bitch. And bringing down the sentry, giving him blonde hair and everything like that, and pretty much setting them on them. And him having more telekinesis powers is kind of different. Normally he's stuck to more kind of traditional Superman, speed, agility, flight, I-beams, that kind of stuff. Here, he's actually been able to throw Alexei out and bring him back in, fucking bend Walker's shield into a taco, pretty much. And is just like taking them all out. Like, this team is not built for this kind of thing. Pretty much calling him invincible. He's like he's Earth's mightiest hero. And it's like, oh god, you have to watch out, Fontaine. You don't know what's going on with this dude. As the Thunderbolts pretty much limp out and try and get away from everything. However, we see that Bob is like, why do I need you? And pretty much has her get ready to kill her while Mel utilizes the kill switch. However, this does not work as planned and instead unleashes the Void, showcasing what has gone on with the super soldier serum for him. And this lines up similarly with the comic books. It gives him positive stuff of like being a hero like the Sentry. However, that gets balanced out with the dark kind of bits of the Void, especially where he is very kind of like depressed and down and everything like that. It's like, oh shit. As we then see the Void kind of popping up where he's just a black entity kind of doing all these kind of black shadow kind of things, linking up to what we saw in the beginning of the movie as Elena was pretty much burning that one thing, as we saw two kind of shadow puffs on the background. And we see it kind of going gnarly, and it's pretty much like the depression and darkness that these things can do and bring, and they're arguing amongst themselves before the Void kind of really pops up on New York proper. And Elena's like pretty much starts blasting into everybody and be like, we can't fucking do this. And of course going off, and then Alexei being like, I'm sorry. And it's like, she's like so sad and depressed, and she lost her sister, and then everything that's been going on, and she just doesn't have that light. And Alexi's like, when you were a kid, you had that light, and that's still in you. You can still do that. You can still be that person, and trying to bring that back out of her. And I like that she's the anchor character for that. Her and Bob really link that kind of stuff up, where the enemy to fight is those kind of feelings, and it's not a normal punchy punch fuck around doodah kind of shit. There are elements of that, but they all have problems that they have to work through, and it's not just as easy as just figuring out how much more power or how smart you can be to kind of get through it. And I really like that. It's helping Elena and all the rest of them kind of get through that is really awesome, because we then see that shit starts going nutty. Start trying to help people out. Alexei just protecting people as much as possible. John, of course, helping after they kind of do their whole kind of void thing. However, he goes too big on a certain kind of thing and is trying to do this all by himself. But it's cool when the rest of the team pops up to lift that over and save the woman. However, we see the void's like, everything's pain kind of shit, and let me just help you guys. And pretty much we see all this darkness spreading, everybody kind of disappearing into shadows from the wall and everything, and Yelena decides to go in and see what to do. And of course she gets linked up into kind of her worst memories, and we learn that like the power that the void can do is essentially create pocket dimensions of your like worst shit. That is a fucking giant kind of level power. This is reality level stone thing where you're kind of doing shit. That's a big fucking level, since we're getting to those bigger kind of cosmic kind of scales and like insanity. And Yelena just starts kind of busting through her other ones before she eventually finds Bob, and seeing that he wanted to kind of be special to help people because he was inspired by heroes, and his father abused him and his mother, and it really affected him and turned him to drugs, and he felt really down. And then he's like, you know what, if I can become somebody, if this stuff can make me better, I'm gonna do it. And then of course it amplifies a little bit of that with the Sentry, and amplifies that with the Void as well, that and the inadequacy of being powerless, of being unable to do anything right, and just everything going wrong, and just wanting to be empty and in the void and be done with it. It's like, I get it, man. I fucking get it. And I like that this movie tackles that, and tackles it from various different angles, and I kind of like that the monster at the end of the book is that shit, and that it is through the power of friendship, even with weird fucking asshole people that you all kind of met because you were locked in a kind of container and people thought you were dead and they kind of brought you out and everything. As we see that she pretty much tries to get Bob through that, and then the rest of the Thunderbolts pop in. It's like, fuck it. Because Alexei pretty much gets the team, and the rest of them kind of go in there to try and figure out what if they're not dead. And Bucky's like, what if they fucking are? But they go through, and going through everybody's kind of worst memories, like, yeah, we kind of did that, so they decide to go through Bob's worst memories to kind of get to that kind of fulcrum point, and that focal point. And they have to fight him as he was like a kind of chicken dude with the sign as he was on meth. And Walker's like, what the fuck is up with you? He's like, I was on meth! As they then get to the Malaysia one, and the Void is just like, you can't do shit. You can't do anything on your own. You can't beat me. And that's it, as he pretty much throws the rest of them off, and Bob tries to do it and fight him, but is also getting consumed by the aspect of like the anger and everything, and just pretty much letting the Void kind of win without intentionally doing it. But Yelena is able to kind of break free, and it's like, you're not alone, Bob. You're not alone. Helping him out. We also get the rest of the Thunderbolts popping up. Walker, Alexei, Ava, Bucky, as they kind of pull him back, and we see that he pulls back. Everybody gets released from the Void's kind of prisons. Don't know about those guys in Malaysia. And Bob doesn't remember what kind of happened. However, they kind of fill him in later on. They protect some people. And then they see Fontaine's like, we're getting your ass. She's like, look, it's the new Avengers! And Elena's like, we own your ass now. It's like, yeah, this is a completely different dynamic than, like, Fury. Fury kind of brought them together and kind of let them do whatever kind of shit and kind of handle themselves. This, you're like, oh yeah, you aren't even on that kind of level. We completely and utterly own your ass and the tower and shit. And it's funny because everybody's clapping, and even Bob's clapping for him, not understanding that he's part of that team too, as the kind of heavy hitter. It's like, all right. Let's see. So then we get two credit scenes. We get the first mid-credit scene where Alexei is in a grocery store, and they're actually on the Wheaties, and this woman's just buying groceries. She's like, hey, how about this? And she just puts it down and is like, I'm on the box. And then the more important one, saying 14 months later, as we see the team in their new outfits, which are looking awesome, by the way. The Sentry one was actually pretty well done, but I like seeing kind of their kind of costumes, because I don't mind CGI mostly, and with the nanotech and everything, that worked very well with Iron Man and other kind of ones. But I like seeing, if you can do as much practical suit, do a practical suit. As we see the team kind of fucking around, we see that Sam Wilson is evidently going after them for copyright. As them going the new Avengers, Alexi's idea for them to call them Avengers with a Z, has a fucking NASCAR kind of tracksuit on. It's like, oh god, I like your spirit, man. You at least want to try and help people. But Bucky trying to pretty much be the kind of elder statesman kind of mentor to Yelena, trying to talk her through everything kind of going on. And being like, why the fuck's that going on? Bob just being like, yep, I'm good back here, not unleashing any kind of void shit, all that. And then we see that something pops up extra dimensional, and Bucky kind of walks Yelena through utilizing the tech, as we see a spaceship kind of pop up, the number 4 on it. Of course, linking to the Fantastic Four. And that's where it ends, as it says, the Thunderbolts and Bob will return. And it's like, alright, so I think that this movie shouldn't have worked as well as it did. However, I think that this happened similarly on the same kind of concept as Guardians of the Galaxy. However, this is more taking characters that a lot of people probably wouldn't care about and putting them together. Walker was the kind of wild card because of him not being in any kind of movie, but I think they did a good enough job of planting him in here and giving enough information on what's kind of going on with him. He was the one that was probably going to be the most hard pressed for a lot of people, because if you didn't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you wouldn't really know much. I mean, he even really wasn't brought up in Captain America Brave New World. Like, if we're going to get to a certain kind of point where Marvel understands that certain kind of things are going to be more of a detriment to the MCU, then I think they should put them in either like a non-canon kind of status, and then just work them in and just be like, okay, this is the first introduction of Walker, which incidentally enough should have happened in Captain America Brave New World. It's weird because sometimes content plans don't go well. Marvel is learning from this. It happens. Like, the thing is, what we've seen issues in comics are then being repeated kind of in the comic book movies. Makes sense. But we took all these kind of crazy characters and we had them kind of work together. I loved Bob and his introduction and what they were able to do with him. He's a very interesting character, and they got that over completely well here. That is a hard thing to do, because if any one of these that was going to fail, it was definitely going to be Bob if it wasn't handled correctly, and I believe that it was handled correctly. We'll have to see if they do any kind of weirder kind of looks for the Void going forward. And I'm glad that they got characters right. Taskmaster kind of got shit on again. Hopefully we get Taskmaster in a pretty good role going forward. Alexei, I loved his change from being just a repeat of Fat Thor. That's an important bit. Ava, I liked her being like, I don't know if I kind of want to work with these people. She's mainly been on the outside, but then actually her powers are important, and she's able to help people and be a part of the team. I really liked that. I loved that. I've loved that evolution now from her being in Ant-Man and then coming here like this. Bucky being like, you know what? Maybe do it. Like, he tried to do the stuff with the congressman, and it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this. And Yelena working through and becoming that kind of hero and really becoming Black Widow. I mean, she was Black Widow in Black Widow and in Hawkeye, but I think that this was a nice kind of cementing of that, of really anchoring her, and she was my favorite character in this movie. I mean, she's a funny character, but I really connected with her emotionally here, of how she felt, and I loved the emotion and understanding those emotions and kind of working through with them is a big kind of core theme, at least to me, of this movie. Now, that's what I got out of it. If a lot of people didn't, I totally understand that. And if you didn't like this, I get that too. All right, like, that's all right. That's fine. I get being like, this, I didn't like it for any different kind of number of reasons or any kind of characters or whatnot. Totally get that. I enjoyed it, though. And I think that everybody did a good job in this. I don't think there were any kind of weak characters in here. Like, their content was on point, the actors were on point, the directions were on point, the CGI was good, and our teases were pretty effective. Our credits scene of just linking up with Alexia being like, I'm on the Wheaties box, motherfucker! And then linking us up with, like, how these new Avengers / Thunderbolts, I'd rather prefer to call them Thunderbolts, not to hate on them or anything. I just want them to have their own kind of name because they deserve it, and how they kind of interact, and then how they're go after a new kind of thing in regards to the Fantastic Four. So I am also looking forward to the Fantastic Four as well. It's just you're pricing everything with movie theaters now, and I can wait. It really is helpful for this. Gag scene was pretty funny. I liked being able to put the subtitles on, pause it when I need to, and everything like that. Just damn good looking in 4K. So, I would recommend this movie to any Marvel fans, because especially those that kind of really liked Guardians of the Galaxy. So, misfit kind of strange-ass characters working together to maybe not let the universe fucking end. Yes. That's why, especially those that are into the Guardians franchise, I think would enjoy this one. And anyone that is interested in these characters and like them from other previous movies, I think would like their interactions and their characterizations here. So those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.